When I was a child, my mom always told me, Angel, when you were born, all the angels came from heaven. Do you know why? Because you're special. On June 16, 2018, I launched my show, Have Faith, Let It Begin. I always wanted to change the world, share my personal testimony, share real-life stories and motivational topics to set out to go out and change the world. Join me each and every week, Monday through Friday, because this is a show all about faith. My name is Angel, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin. Have Faith, Let It Begin. Hello everyone, my name is Angel, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to our show, visit our website, havefaithletitbegin.com, subscribe to our family email address. We are going to be giving announcements, putting you on our email list so that you know when we're going to have events, big announcements, of course, and different types of prizes that we're going to be giving out throughout the summer. Folks, let's get started with another episode. I had the opportunity to be with my colleagues this past week, and you get to talking, and all of a sudden they say something that triggers a memory, and instantaneously I wrote it down, and I said, yes, I remember this story. I want to share it with everybody. So for many of you that follow along with our show, know that in the past I was a server for TGIF Fridays. And I remember, everybody's got stories of when you were a server. They got the good ones, the bad ones. This has to be probably the most coolest thing that's ever happened to me. So, as a server, I was still fairly new. It was a part-time gig for me to make some extra money, as I was still a salesperson and helping run a branch primarily throughout the week. I needed a social life, and that was the closest thing I could come up with, a social life. So I started to become a server. Well, as what fate would have it, one night I was given a table. It was a table for two, and I greeted them, and did my routine, made them laugh a little bit, and then all of a sudden, as many of you that may have served or are servers, I call them servers. I don't know if they're still considered waiters. I don't like being called a waiter. We were called servers, so we'll use that terminology. Everybody knows that you can get double sat, which means two tables come in at once. So I got triple sat. So I already took the order of a couple, and then I had three other tables. Out of the three other tables, one was, I believe, three. The other one was definitely a party of five, and it was another tabletop for two. So altogether, you had 2, 2, 3, and 5. So they all knew that I was getting triple sat, and everybody had pretty much good attitude. So we're talking, everybody's having a good time. So I decided to kind of put all the tables together. How I did that, I said, okay guys, you're all coming in, so we're going to treat this section like a giant family. I was like, we're going to take a giant drink order so that nobody has to wait. And everybody started cheering. So, again, these are all strangers, at one point. So we're taking the orders. Everybody's having a good time. Great personalities, great attitudes. And one couple was talking about how they just got back from a movie. And they had seen the Two Towers movie. And me being from New York, and this is in Providence, Rhode Island at the time, it was actually, I would say about maybe 10 months after the 9/11 incident. So, me being a New Yorker, I'm assuming, because I didn't have a social life and I didn't have time to watch TV, that they're talking about a documentary about the Two Towers. Little did I know, they're actually talking about Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. So I catch wind of it, and I'm hearing their conversation. And as a server, you want to kind of keep in tune to what's going on, so you can try to be part of the conversation if they allow you, and it allows you to give a good report with your customers, so that way your tip is good. I'm going to be honest. So I said, listen, that's great that they have a Two Towers movie. I interjected, and I says, was it good? Was it sad? Now, mind you, I'm thinking they're talking about a documentary about the Twin Towers. They're talking about Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. So I said, was it sad? Was it good? Like, sad? Nah, man, if anything, there wasn't enough deaths in the movie. And I'm thinking, that's kind of cold. And the guy's like, yeah, you know, a lot of people were beheaded and, you know, people were stabbed. And I'm thinking, there was no stabbings on 9/11. And you know, they're talking about the Lord of the Rings. So I start getting really, really mad. Like, really mad. And I'm to the point where I just don't want to serve them anymore. So I'll be honest, I kind of ignored them, you know, because I was insulted. So I started taking everybody else's orders, making them laugh. And I finally go to the back and somebody sees me and they're like, are you all right? I'm like, who wants my table? These people are just downright rude. They're disrespectful and they just got no heart. They're like, what happened? Tell us, what happened? Did they say something negative? I'm like, well, they're talking about that, that Two Towers documentary about 9/11 and they don't know I'm from New York. And immediately one of my friends is like, Two Towers documentary? Are they talking about a movie called The Two Towers? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, Angel, no, you don't understand. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm from New York. You shouldn't talk about people's deaths like that. A lot of people, calm down. They're like, listen, they're talking about the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. Now, let me just pause for a second, folks. This is back in 2001, 2002. It's not like everybody had a BlackBerry at Fridays. It's not like you could just go on your phone, Google it to show them. The phones that we had, texting wasn't really out yet. You know what I mean? So there was no way for them to prove it to me. So finally, I'm like, oh, it sunk in like, oh, okay, I've heard of Lord of the Rings. They're like, yes. And they had to explain it to me. So now, I'm in the back and now I have to go back and humble myself. So I decide to go back out on the floor and I brought out, everybody's meals already went out because they have a food runner. And, my job is to go back and check. Thank God the food runner was really awesome. She checked on their meal. She refilled their drinks. So now here I come back and I say, I want to apologize to everybody. I wasn't myself for the last 9 minutes. And they're like, yeah, what's going on? And they call me by my nickname that I went by as a server. And they're like, what's going on? We're all positive and all of a sudden you just left us. And I said, well, and so I explained to them the story. These people were hysterical, laughing. And it was the funniest 5 minutes ever because everybody was just, it was just one of those things you just can't make up. Everybody's laughing. Here's the cool thing that really happened. From that issue that came up and from that joke that was, I was the butt of the joke, obviously, I didn't realize, but all of those tables who didn't know each other began to speak to one another. And by the end of the night, which I did not know until months later when I got a phone call at my house stating that there was a giant group of people, it was my day off, they called me and they're like, Angel, we need you to come in. There's a table that will not take a sitting. It's a giant group. There's about 10 people and they won't take a table unless you serve them. And I was like, well, I'm off. They're like, well, yeah, but they're requesting you. They said they're willing to wait for you. Would you come in? I said, yeah, I was curious. So when I came and I showed up at the front door, they all started applauding. These strangers became friends. And they started a friendship. And through, mutual friends of mutual friends, somebody got married to someone within the friendships. So it almost became like they became a family. And all because of that joke and all because of me trying to keep them all together so that they wouldn't feel left out as we were on a busy night. So what's the point of the story? It is amazing how when people communicate with one another, when people share, in stories, when people humble themselves, when people say to themselves, listen, I messed up, I got to share something with you. Kind of like what we do on this show. When we share stories, when we share things with one another, it is truly an amazing thing to bear witness and to watch God work his magic and put strangers together and to put them in a position where they feel that I was responsible, that I was the person that brought them together, truly brought joy to my heart. So I keep speaking about random acts of kindness here. I keep talking about treating people with respect, showing support, showing love, showing the dignity that you have, and the passion that you have, and the joy that you have in your heart that God has bestowed upon us. It is so important to let that out. It is so important to show people that you care. It's so important to show people that you can trust in one another. It's my alarm going off at my house as I'm driving to work, so that means somebody drove by my home. So, with that being said, take today's story and remember the next time you go out, if there's people around you and they're willing to get into conversation with you, it's okay to let loose and say, how are you? It's okay to share a little bit, because you never know. That could be your next wife, your next husband, could be your next friends for life. And if we all do that, if we all allow ourselves to break free of our negativity and allow some people in, it will make the world a better place. Have faith. Let it begin. Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, my love. You know, we're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.